We are back a day late, but right on time. Don't play. Don't play. We a day late, but right on time. Y'all, it has been a week, but I thank you for your patience. I thank you for being flexible, and I thank you for being here. If you are here joining this show, watching it live, that means you are a patron. Patreon.com/JustLatasha to access this $5 live show, $5 a month for multiple exclusive shows to dissect the full season of Atlanta, the full season 3. After this season, they are on their final season, quite literally forever. And we're going to say goodbye to the show. So we're in another bottle episode. We're missing the cast yet again. And this one was a tough one, y'all. I must say, this episode was a tough one. I watched it 3 times. The first time I saw it, I was like, I don't know what is going on. But I cracked the case just for y'all. And we actually have a really juicy, delectable, delicious conversation tonight. I'm your host, JustLatasha. This is the Dissection, episode 7, Trini to the bone. Now, I'm American. The accent is not going to give tonight. I'm going to fail you, okay? I'm absolutely going to fail and disappoint you. Absolutely, love. Okay? But it's going to happen. I can sit here and pretend, but why lie? Right? Like, why lie? Like, it's the bad accent is gonna happen. Trini to the bone. Shout out to Amira first comment in the chat. Thank you guys for putting hearts up in the chat. This is a love room. We accept, we love, we celebrate Blackness. We celebrate us. We celebrate good fucking art. Huh? That's what we do. Okay. So I thank you for being here. If you are catching this show on the rewatch that comes out every Thursday for the general public on YouTube on the JustLatasha channel, please make sure you hit the thumbs up, you subscribe to the channel, you leave comments, you dissect along with us, you figure things out, you think out loud and be brave to be wrong. We be wrong sometimes, and we ain't make the show. So thinking is fun. You know what I mean? And we be having hella fun in here. So what up, Amira? Let's see who else we got in here. My boy Marquise. What's good, Marquise? Uh-oh, Trini. Damien, if you drag me tonight, all is forgiven, but don't. What Bryson Tiller say? Don't. Okay? We both know I ain't got it, but I'm going to do it. And who gonna stop? Who gonna check me? It's a love room. That's exactly right. What up, Khaled? I miss you. Heike, happy this is happening today because I would have missed it yesterday. You know, several of you guys have been saying that, like, this day happened to be better for you this week. And yeah, I just needed the shift, but we back on Mondays next week. This episode hit a little deeper than others, especially being Trini and my grandmother passing away in January. Oh, my love, I'm so sorry. Blessings to you. I saw another YouTuber trying to read the lyrics to Trini to the bone. I'm gonna Americanize it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna Americanize it because I also do want to visit the lyrics to the actual song as well. Hi Elaine. Hey Cleve. Oh, what's up? The crucial chick. Hey Christian, welcome back. Hey Barty, CJ, Mia. Oh man, I'm so all right. I didn't even do that right. I didn't even do that well, y'all. Okay, we have so much to talk about tonight. I'm so happy that you guys are here. Let's dive right in. So, Trini to the bone. If you guys are catching this dissection for the first time, anyone visiting the channel and dissection for the first time, I just want to break down this season's color theory. We have black versus white. This season in particular is specifically addressing how Black people maneuver the world of white supremacy racism, how we maneuver dealing with whiteness and imagining and fantasizing about what if we actually win this game? Is there a way to do that? So we have black versus white. We also have the trifecta color pairing, the red, white, and blue, symbolizing racism in America. Red specifically meaning danger, caution, stop, wounds, pain. We should have our red flags, our alerts up when we see the color red. And blue in the foundational season premiere, watching the white fishermen unconsciously drown the Black fishermen in the boat. We have the color blue representing the water. Usually, when you see Black people in the season of Atlanta, they're paired with the color blue to show that they're drowning under this white supremacist system. And then, of course, is the color yellow, which we have estimated in this dissection area would be representative of Black people. So then, like, as soon as we know all that was going on, we can compare the visuals against the story being told and expand what is being said. And that, ladies and gentlemen, and babies in between, is a dissection. Are we ready? Are we ready? Okay, so I definitely wanted to start with the opening sequence. We are in New York City, where the white dad crosses over a white road, over a Black street, reminiscing of that foundational opening image of this entire season, the white road over that dark Black sea, right? The original road that sets everything up. I also noticed this was mirror imaged against how we met Ernest, the white fisherman, who's sort of like this omnipresent, dreamlike ghost. Is he real? Is he not? The white dad running through the streets of New York City over the white road with all of these red lights streaming, compared in this mirror image to the white lights leading to the white fisherman, Ernest. And so, in that sort of color pairing, we get to break down what's happening in this episode. All right. So if the white dad is running across the road with all of these red lights, we can ask, where is he going to be causing harm? Because in this season, white people are positioned, as they are in real life, our antagonists. Pow, pow. Okay. So this family is super rich. They live in the toppest of towers, the city overbearing the rest of the city, and they live in the penthouse top floor, quite literally showing from the street, going all the way up, the build of classism, the build of wealth. And it looks similar to the way Ern and the squad had to go find that billionaire's party, right? They're traveling uphill on the street, and then when they find the party, they have to go all the way up to the top floor through this secret door, and then they find the billionaire. So I remember those kind of visuals to stack against what we'll be looking at tonight. Now, this one, y'all, was very cool. Okay, let's take a look at the kitchen. All right. Behind dad, you have a salt and pepper shaker with some red mug or item of some sort. And in front of dad, you have two green bowls and one weird cup, this sort of pairing of three, right? And that third piece on either side of dad is not alike. Dad is also positioned in front of what would look like a road, where he asks his wife, this lovely white woman to the right, where's Sylvia? And if you notice the visuals in the room, everything is sort of the same color palette except for this beautiful red vase. The wife is also positioned in what we could understand to be a visual symbolism of the road. So where's Sylvia? Visually, we see her. We saw her twice. Visually, we saw Sylvia twice. We also go into the scene seeing their son, Sebastian, this child who was watching The Proud Family. And in this episode, we start to explore how this white family has harmed versus the harm that has happened in Sylvia's Black family. So as Sebastian's watching The Proud Family, where have the families caused harm? Where are they safe? Where are they? And start asking those type of questions. And of course, just on surface level, a white baby is watching a Black cartoon show just to show his connection to his Black caretaker, Sylvia. And in order for these rich parents to be forced, to be inconvenienced, to take care of their own child, they have to forfeit their selected hobbies. Right? It's not dire for them to miss these things, but they'd rather miss hanging out with their kid. They'd rather miss raising their child. They sort of just choose it, right? And the only reason why they're inconvenienced is because of the extremity of Sylvia dying. Her death, the weight of that, her death inconveniences them. So I'm gonna go here just to draw out the more visuals, and I'm gonna tune into the chat to see what y'all talking about, because I do see y'all going off again with, you know, the set of two with that third weird one. And look how we meet Sebastian. It's very integral for us to meet him with his back turned to us, because the fact that we can't see his face implies in film that we don't know the character's true identity. So we're meeting this baby in the living room. We're asking where Sylvia is, and we cannot see his identity. So these bowls compared with that weird cup, paired against this photo of the family, the two parents, and that weird item that doesn't quite fit, right? Also, thought it was interesting that his hair color, sort of like this hair, you got red hair. He got red hair. So when we asked where's Sylvia, we start to see all this red. So if Sylvia is sort of popping up in red and the baby got red on with red hair, I would imagine that would imply he is in Sylvia's possession. He is in possession of a dead person. He is in possession of a ghost. So the hauntings begin. We have this strange knock on the door. We don't know where it's from, who it is. No one shows up, but we have this one item, a yellow envelope, especially pairing this yellow envelope down the hallway, which visually again mirrors the foundational road in episode 1 of this season. Yellow representing the presence of Black people, the presence of a Black person. This is addressed to Sylvia, but what I more so think it means is that it is Sylvia. Hello, let me in. Thanks. Thank you. So by invading this family's space, by Sylvia invading this rich white family's space, she has visually inverted the road and took some power here. How we doing? We good? let me tune in with you, see if we good. Okay. Nasty. For a baby, I like Eggs Benedict, but I'm grown. For a child who's watching cartoons in the morning, Eggs Benedict. Oh, so you don't know that baby, huh? You don't even know that baby, huh? But why did I say early in the episode that little boy's want to grow up to be Chet Hanks, and then the Chet Hanks appears, accent and all? Oh, he saw his future. Oh, the parents saw their baby's future. Consciously, they may have missed it, but us watching it, we saw the road. We was down to the road. Okay. I should be embarrassed, but I'm not. I'm just going to keep being bad because what? What up, Leslie? Welcome. He looks so creepy in that family picture, though. That baby got dark energy. That baby has dark energy. Hey, Nisha, how are you? Bass watching the new Proud Family reboot, probably relating more to that Black family than his own. Because one of these things is not like the others. He is very off-paired, intentionally very off-paired. He does not fit in here. He does not fit in this space. He don't like your food. Y'all don't know who he is. Y'all don't know how to help. The spicy curry mango had slight pepper through me. Slight pepper is still pepper. The way the dad was dying, I really can't. How this white family starts off consuming Black entertainment. Dad listens to rap, son watching Proud Family, mom wearing a telfar and engages in yoga, but don't know the Black woman. Big, great point, great eye. Yes, damn sure wore the Telfie down to the fume. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. And sort of this consumption of Blackness. Consumption. Even the baby is very much engaged in it because he is totally consumed in Sylvia's culture. by accident, subconsciously, unconsciously, but they're consuming Blackness to uphold their lifestyle. That's the one. That's the one. Keeping up with the haunting theme of death this season, Sylvia's presence as a ghost filled the entire episode. Even more so, I'll go a step further. She drove the episode from the other side. This episode was giving Hereditary. If y'all don't know, Hereditary is my all-time favorite film. Creepy, I know. Hereditary is my all-time favorite film. This episode felt like it studied Hereditary, because in Hereditary, we start with the death of the mother, and from there, she's controlling everything. Actually. So, let's get into Sylvia, okay? To where now, Sebastian asks his mother, where's Sylvia? We can see where she's at. With that big red poster, we can see where she's at. Am I bugging, or is the red, white, and black Trini flag? I'm making that up. Did I make that up? I'm sure y'all will tell me. I don't know my flags. I'm sure y'all would tell me. But he asks, where's Sylvia? And look at the mother's reflection in a reflection of a door. But of course, again, it's supposed to imply the road, right? The white road. And at this point, if Sylvia is invading this family, invading their space, and she inverted the power, she inverted the road, this would imply that mom is now the one underwater. Even though she's very much living, it would imply that she is the one underwater. And I wonder if so as they come into the school, Sebastian asks his mom, you want to calm down? You want to take that ocean breath? Breathing underwater, you want to take that ocean breath? And I wonder if they were being cheeky with Sebastian's name, particularly because that's the name of the crab that lives under the sea with the Little Mermaid. That Caribbean ass crab. I wonder if they were being a little cheeky with that. Oh, that poster is looking a lot to the bone. They're good in this room. I'm sorry. They're good in this writer's room. They be thinking about everything. Only because they're so good, I can do this. Only because they're so good, I can do this. They give me so much to work with, which I love and appreciate. So if Sylvia has come in, inverted the power, crossed the road, and mom is underwater, we saw her driving in the rain, confirming, yes, she is underwater. And while she is driving in the rain, she has dad on FaceTime. And of course, you know, their voice sounds muffled coming through the phone. Atlanta tends to, over the course of episodes, play with the quality of sound to imply when someone is drowning, when someone is underwater. So dad having that muffled voice through the phone is definitely what's happening. So both of them, even if dad is not physically here, both of the parents were driving in the rain, being underwater. And here we learn that the parents missed Sebastian's family photo day. So where's Sylvia? Sebastian's room is filled with the color yellow. She is very much with Sebastian. And the fact that the light source is being shown in the reflection just the way we saw mom. Oh, we trade in places. Even this has like a bluish hue to it. Even though it's white light, it has a bluish daylight hue to it to imply being underwater versus yellow where the black lady's in the room. Taking your spot. Taking your place. And Sebastian here asks, can she come back and say goodbye and then go back to being dead? Oh, why? Bash, baby. Yeah. As a matter of fact, that's exactly what she's going to do. That's exactly what Sylvia is going to do. As we learn that the parents don't know how to care for, relate to, speak to their son. They have no idea who this kid is, right? And that being said, we have another haunting. Got a little red stamp on it this time. It's urgent. We're giving danger. We're going to heat it up a little bit. We're going to put a little spice in this curry mango. Sylvia came back with another delivery. What's up? Okay, the hauntings begin again. So I thought it was really cool how mom discovers just how much Sylvia's stuff was in the house. I'm like, oh, I didn't know she had all these things in our house. Might as well be her house. Y'all ain't here. Y'all are the ghosts. Y'all not here. Sylvia's here. Okay. And we play with this idea of the mirror imagings and the historian versions, specifically when dad starts to speak about what living rooms used to be, right? Americans have commodified death. The living room used to be the death room, where families would house the bodies for other family and loved ones to visit. The living room used to be the death room. So I have a question for the chat. Where did we meet Sebastian? Thank you. The living room used to be the death room. Where did we meet Sebastian? So if there's a story inversion and we met him sitting backwards and he don't even fit in here, we can assume he is aligned with the dead, even though he's alive. We can assume he's aligned with the dead. Sylvia's body is here. Y'all barely here. Y'all visiting her. This her death room where he sits waiting for her. And so right when the parents decide we're going to return Sylvia's stuff to her family in person, we may go to this funeral, mom does an ocean breath. The parents are deciding to cross the road towards the Black people, creating an inversion, right? They're not living in their high rise. They're going to go across the road. And even though mom is very much alive, she is breathing underwater where the dead are. From that foundational episode 1, where the fisherman drowned under the water, where the dead grabbed the Black fisherman, that's where mom is currently breathing. Okay. Also in this episode, she's often surrounded by plants, which usually means like new journey, life, growth, things like that. So it confirms that she is alive, she is living, but Sylvia is inverting spiritually where she is with these ocean breaths, right? So we've also been talking about colonization, stealing, taking up Black space. So I just wanted to ponder where this family has been stealing, because they talk about who next is going to be their son's caretaker, right? They prefer this young white nanny, but it's cheaper to source labor from minorities, this sort of passive stealing. They got the money, they ain't hurting for it. And they still penny pinching and using minority labor to do it, to get their comfort, to not be further inconvenienced. But you can afford the nanny that you want. You're just not willing to pay this passive taking, right? What they also plan to do is utilize whomever this minority caretaker is, whatever that culture is, to feed value into their son. So who these minorities are as people is less valuable in society, that they'll get paid less, even though their culture is coveted. But when they hand that culture to Sebastian, he will have more value in society. He needs to prepare for business. He needs to learn how to speak Mandarin. Why aren't you paying Mandarin caretakers the little young white metropolitan nanny prices? You should be paying more since he's learning a language. So I'm gonna go here before I jump back in the chat with y'all. Inversions. Parents on a white road, Sebastian on a black road. And Sebastian is scared because Sylvia's ghost is in the room, but he scares his parents because he snuck up on them like a ghost. And in trying to comfort and heal and connect with Sebastian, mom is doing it all wrong. Mom fails to comfort Sebastian. Dad fails to feed Sebastian the way Sylvia can help this baby in the way that he needs. Sebastian is also in blue, which represents the water. And as mom tries to sing him to sleep, she sings Baby Beluga in the deep blue sea. Oh, everybody's going. Oh, everybody's going. Mom hasn't even been alive the entire time. She even performed fake sad when they heard that Sylvia died. The mom was back to business for this new nanny. No emotional reaction to Black Death whatsoever. This woman is taking care of your child and you could care less. You had to miss yoga class for her death. Ugh. One more thing. I love people like, and another thing. The fact that Miles was snapping at his wife to get her attention irritated me. Oh. Irate. Don't you ever in your life. And I also noticed that dad didn't even explain to mom why he won't help. She was like, well, I have to prepare for work. I have to prepare for a presentation. Can you take him to school? He was like, no. Okay, Sebastian, mommy's going to take you to school. Like, so you can see where mom has power and you can see where she absolutely doesn't and loses it. And she accepts that. She absolutely accepts that. Childcare workers and nannies will never collect the compensation they're truly worth. And the deep blue sea. I need to do better at catching these water references. Oh my God. To the parents, Sylvia or any nanny is seen as an undervalued resource to be exploited, not a human being. That's it. That is it. Treating people taking care of your child like they're interchangeable. Bonus if they can extract what they want for their kid. No efforts from them. Y'all are on it. That's it. Y'all are on it. Y'all are on it. So let's cross the road, down the road. We meet Khadijah, Sylvia's daughter. And of course, in what color? Red. Because Sylvia's death has caused pain here. Sylvia not being around for her own family has caused pain here. So we have the children and the daughters in red. And of course, the color of the cups with the black man and with the black men behind her. That water blue, that drowning blue, that under the sea blue. And once we get to the other side of town, Sebastian finally fits in. He's on it, finishing sentences, knowing the lingo, knowing the culture. Sebastian fits. And he is dressed like the children of Sylvia. They're all in red. So the fact that he has on red along with Sylvia, along with her daughters, it's like, that's what Khadijah said. You family now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot to break down here. This part was delicious. I want to talk about Richie, the young Black boy who operates valet, working, right? And it just reminded me how hyper independent minority children have to be. I know I was a latchkey kid. I was raising my sister. I was working at 14 years old. And we are put in these positions to be hyper independent because our parents have to leave us alone so they can have economic survival. Our parents had to work. So we had to raise ourselves and raise our siblings and take care of ourselves. And so it's funny that Richie is so young and operating this whole car parking system while being a child, but that looked normal to us. You know what I mean? versus Sebastian, who has his beautiful cushion life where he will always have a caretaker. His parents choose to not be with him versus our parents who have to leave us, you know? So also, dad is calling out for Richie, and Richie cannot hear him. Because once the white people have crossed over to the black road, they have become the ghost. He is as good as invisible. Richie does not compute. Don't see you, don't hear you. You're dead. You're dead. I definitely want to take a look at the colors, of course. Richie is in black and green. Green is the embodiment of blue and yellow. So you can conclude that black people are underwater. We have Richie in green. He's sitting in front of a red and yellow brick wall. Where again, we're alluding to black people being harmed, black people in pain. And I could not miss the Paperboy poster in white, black, and red, of course, alluding to that Trini flag. But even more so, the color white representing white people and the color red representing harm. We know the trouble that Paperboy has been going through with white people overseas. How we are sharing the same harm no matter where you are. Paperboy is all the way across the other side of the world versus Richie and Sylvia and Khadijah and all the black people right here. We share the same room. We said that we share the same wound. Paperboy not even here. We have the same wound. We know white people are harming Paperboy to who he has to decide to possibly kill his career as dad is parking for a funeral. So Paperboy has his homecoming tour versus Sylvia's homegoing service. Paperboy's image is reflected and inverted, making that inversion mirror symbolism in the visual prospects. Huh? Are we cooking with grease? Are we cooking with grease? Sylvia taught Sebastian much more than a foreign language. She shaped his moral compass, his view of the world, and his taste buds. Because why? Cockroach don't belong in foul party. I was like, a roach? Oh, y'all getting violent now. y'all called this family cockroaches. And think about a cockroach, like the scum of the home where you have dirt and grime. And cockroach specifically is a bug that represents poverty. So the fact that these rich white people come into the black part of town and the black people call them cockroaches, you scum of the fucking earth. Miles was nervous because he had to give up his means of escape, the car keys. Just leave them up top. That's not safe at all. But what choice you have? He had to give up his means of escape. Woo! Hey, Christian. The sun mirrored Chet's character, black suit, red tie, symbolizing the piece of Sylvia they will always carry with them. Absolutely, because these white boys are now what? Trini to the bone. These white boys are now Trini to the bone. Wait, the dad's name is Miles, aka Alfred's last name, and there was a white Ernest in the last bottle episode. I wonder what the connection between Miles and Al is. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm calling them mom and dad because I didn't get their names. And it don't matter. But it might matter. According to Khaled, who's making a beautiful connection here. Because yes, the white fisherman from episode 1, his name is Ernest, as we all know from Ern, and his white dad's name is Miles, which is Paperboy's last name, which I didn't know Paperboy's last name either. So this is really interesting. That could be something. Let's remember this. Let's see if they uncover this. If the cast ever decides to come back to the show. Richie wouldn't have got my keys. I would say, Richie, they right here. We voting for you. You're right. You're right. You're right. Ooh. Ooh. Plus, cockroaches are hard to get rid of. They're hard to kill. I mean, if you can blow up the entire world in a nuclear war and the cockroaches are still alive, yeah, we got a problem. We got a problem. We got a problem. All right, we're going to move on. Here we go. So I wanted to pay attention to this Jesus saves sort of imaging. Again, playing with the idea of inversions, because on the right side of the church, we have the stained glass church window with the red and yellow, again, alluding to Black people being harmed, Black people in pain, Black people with wounds, versus the left side of the church where you have this red and yellow poster of Jesus saves. So we asked in the beginning, where's Sylvia? We asked in the beginning, where's Sylvia? And we asked in the beginning, where's Sylvia? And you can see Sylvia taking mom's place. And you can see when we're on the white side of the road, Sylvia is represented by these red items, right? Where's Sylvia? These red items. Even behind dad, even behind mom, these red items represent Sylvia. But when we get on the Black side of the road and we have this inversion between mothers, Sylvia turns into something else. Because when we're on the white side of the road, there's all these plants and greenery behind the white mom. When we're on the Black side of the road, Sylvia turns into flowers. And the pastor in this funeral said, to know God is to know Sylvia. So we have this Jesus Saves poster versus the glass stained inversion to represent Black people being harmed and the mother switching places, where you can see the alive mom and the dead mom. Jesus saves. And to know God is to know Sylvia. So I pondered, is Sylvia drowning Sebastian? Is she saving Sebastian? And that's the exact question I had with the Black fisherman being drowned in episode 1, and all these beautiful Black hands grabbed him. Is he being harmed or saved, this Black fisherman? Is he being harmed or saved? Is Sebastian being harmed or saved? Right? And similar to the white fisherman, Ernest, episode 4, in order to reach the absolute freedom, he had to kill himself. He had to die. That was Ernest's salvation. That was the white fisherman's salvation, to die. So in the white road, in the white world, Sylvia is dead. But in the Black world here, she is very much alive. She has life here as they're celebrating the one she left behind. I thought that was beautiful. I thought that was beautiful. And you know what? I'm like, at what point should I have this conversation? I might hold it. I wanted to go here too. Let's keep the steam. So I want to talk about Sylvia as we start to physically see her, right? As she lays in this white coffin, she mirrors Sebastian standing in his parents' doorway, where he scared his mother as if he were a ghost, versus her body. I inverted the photo so the alignment could visually look similar. It looks confusing when everybody's laying all a different way. So as she's laying in this white coffin, she visually mirrors Sebastian standing in that doorway. And of course, when we see a photo of her at her funeral, her photo is in blue, representing her being underwater, right? Sebastian, when he stood in that doorway, scared his mother after his dad says, death doesn't have to be scary. Knowing that Sebastian is sometimes meeting and comforted by Sylvia's ghost, or even just comforted by the memory of her. That's where she lives for Sebastian, in memory now. She lives in his spirit now, right? So Sebastian visually appears as if he is in her coffin as well. It was a funny moment, but I took some time to think about how Sylvia's brother pitched himself to now work for this rich white family. He tried to get a come up in the death of his sister. And on the surface, it looks like selfish and self-serving and like dense. But I think about how Black people don't have time to grieve. I know when I lost my friend last year, I had to work. And especially if you don't have some nice, cushy corporate job, you're doing service work, you got to work. You can't miss days. You don't get paid time off. So even in grief, he sort of has to be like, I can help, I can work, because how is he going to take care of himself when Sylvia had this job to take care of all of these people, right? It still has to pay, her death still has to pay forward somehow. So I tried to like rethink him sort of taking a moment rather than keeping himself afloat. I thought, I be trying to give grace. I give grace to my folk. Okay. I give grace to my folk. And in this funeral, this white family learns that in them gaining Sylvia, it has pained her own family, who she had to abandon in order to help them all survive. Right? In her story, the pastor is giving this beautiful eulogy. He tells her life story about how she traveled from Trinidad and Tobago for a better life for herself, for her family, and Sylvia did everything she could to take care of all of them, including sacrificing her presence with them. Versus the mom who chooses to not be present with her son. She'd rather not. So white people who have never even had to think about what Black grief looks like, what Black pain looks like, how the white mom pretended to be sad upon the news of Sylvia dying. But now witnessing, front row seat, what that looks like, fighting, anger, yelling, versus who commodified Black death? Chet Hanks, trying to put it up on World Star for a bunch of clicks and laughs, using Blackness. And that beautiful final line, this is how we sad. I'm not talking about Chet Hanks, by the way, because but as we've stated, looking at Chet Hanks clues us into the fact that we are definitely staring into Sebastian's future. He is definitely Trini to the bone. Trini to the bone. What, in real life? Now that's a story. I don't expect Atlanta to hold Chet Hanks accountable. And I sort of seen that take online where people were like, why would he be in the show? And why would he? I don't expect this show to hold him accountable. It was very, but it allowed him to laugh at himself. But my thing is, it felt like Chet Hanks was being supported in his bastardization of Blackness, specifically Caribbean Blackness, his bastardization of his lust for Black women. Like he was being given an opportunity for that instead of, like, why does he get to win doing that? He gets an opportunity, and it's like this surrealist moment where like Chet is like laughing at himself, but also not getting that he is the joke. and the show not making him realize that he is the joke. He got to be in on the joke rather than be the butt of the joke. I think that's what's like pinching my goose a little bit, which is why I'm not going to talk about Chet or what he did in the show and what he was funny. No, I'm not talking about it. All time is Trini time. Was Sylvia also in the hallways of the fancy apartment tower, the red exit signs? The red exit signs represented danger. She was the envelope. She was the one delivering. She is the envelope. She was the one delivering the envelope. And as we come to the end of the episode, she's definitely inside of the envelope, which we'll talk about later as well. That's where she was. My grandmother was a very flawed woman. She didn't always make the best decisions with her kids, but she gave me all the love, affirmation, and security I needed growing up. Can we talk? Okay. I think I'm ready to have this conversation. When I first watched this episode, I was asking, why would a dead Black woman still be in the space of this white family? Like in death, why is she still here? Why is she still with this white baby? Especially seeing the pain her absence has caused her daughters. Why would she still be here? And I saw Black women reviewers saying the show is shallow and it misses the mark with Black women and it makes us flattened and one-dimensional. And Sylvia, as this Black caretaker, still hanging out with Sebastian in her death, gives off mammy. Still gives off this stereotypical in-service Black woman vibes. I think what happens, and I'm glad you're saying this about your grandmother, I think what happens is because more times than not, majority of the times when Black women are not controlling our own narratives and we exist on television, our characters do fall into these stereotypes, right? And there are very real consequences for when non-Black people are watching images of Black women on TV being stereotypical. When we now go out into the world, non-Black people are treating us the way they think we are as perceived on TV. I'm aggressive, I'm mad, I'm ghetto, I'm uneducated, I got an attitude. Those are very real consequences for us when we go out and to maneuver the world. So I think a lot of Black women are impatient when we see these things that kind of tote the line. So, however, here's where I would conclude. I think we should get more comfortable not being perfect on TV. And I think this episode did Sylvia's character as a Black woman very well, because her entire eulogy was about why she served this family and why she failed this family. We are flawed, but we do our best. And when we see Black women behaving badly in Atlanta, I think some Black women get really triggered by that because it feels like another one of these attacks, but we're not perfect. And I think we should be safe enough to not be perfect on TV. And how that balances specifically with Sylvia in this episode is that she had to fail her family for the larger conversation of where Black service is requested at the hands of the white dollar and how the white dollar is the enemy, not Sylvia. Sylvia was absent from her family out of love and wanting to provide, and in turn that had to cause pain. She don't want to be here, but she had to be here so her family could be the best well off. She traveled from home for a better life. She came here to work with this family for a better life. She sent money back to her family so they can be better off. That was all in love. And to know God is to know Sylvia. But look at the pain it caused. That's not Sylvia's fault. That's the white family's fault. So I think this show shows why we are flawed and why we make mistakes. The whole mountain of stuff that sits below the surface that makes us act out on the surface the way we do. Her daughter was screaming, crying, punching the casket, but Sylvia had to be absent because of love versus the white mom who's being absent because she can. And that is not love. Her son doesn't fit in with his own family. That is not love. That is the enemy. So I get really like, especially as a screenwriter, when I'm going to be making a bunch of my own stuff too, I really think about how the audience perceives story, and if they spend time with the story, and if they bother to just take a beat, take a moment, and look a little bit deeper at all the things that are being said. And there's a very specific reason why she is here in this white family in death, which I'm going to portray as we end the dissection. So hold off a little bit. Hold off a little. The way I was like, I don't care. Bye. You know where your car keys is at. The desire for minority culture is disposable as long as you have the ability to contain it, buy it, and or escape from it. They just wanted to dip in real quick and get back out. Thank you with her her Telfar bag. Hey, Amira. I keep thinking about how people who are drowning tend to also drown the ones trying to help them. Is it possible that Sylvia trying to save this white family and it ultimately drowns them both? I don't believe she's trying to save this white family, and I'll get into that in a bit. I don't think she's here to save them. I love when they also talked about her entire legacy as being this legendary woman in the public eye, but flawed in her own family. Balancing passion and family is hard for immigrants. There's no space to, like, when you hit the ground in survival mode, there's no space to be present with your loved ones and just sit back and enjoy life. We have to keep the feet on the ground, right? Which is why her brother was like, I can work. There's no time or space to do that because y'all are, with your rich white dollar, you're not paying us what we're worth. We got to survive. I think the messengers who are the issue, they could use more Black women in the writer's room. And I think Atlanta was up to 3. But to be fair, I think their writer's room was about 7 total, if I'm not mistaken. It was a very small writer's room, and it took a while for them to get Black women in the room. Let's not miss that. By the time we got here, it was 3 out of 7-ish. So getting closer. Okay. And I honestly think it's fair. Stephanie Robinson is a Black woman who she wrote the barbershop episode. She started off as a writer, and now you see her name as the executive producer in the credits across this entire season. So I'm still waiting for Van's humanity to still flourish, but there's still time. The season is not over yet. I'm still waiting for Van to arrive. But I thought this was beautiful. This was beautiful. Black women are not perfect, and we don't have to be. I think attempting to be perfect is the trap. But giving grace to our imperfections and in our flaws, and when we do fall, falter, and fail, is the humanity. And that's exactly what they did for Sylvia here. So we do a lot of things for the greater good. It's not malicious. Truly, I had to learn that about my own mother. She is flawed, but she provided us with a lot. I understood the daughter's frustrations. Yeah. So of course, let's talk about Trini to the bone. All of the Black diaspora just like turned off the video. I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry. Trini to the Bone song by David Rudder. Some of the lyrics goes like this, which of course feeds into Sylvia's storyline. All these years I spent abroad in the cold, longing to be home. Trini to the bone. God, I pray that some sweet day I will no longer have to roam. The problems we have are plain to see. We prove we could stand the scrutiny. There's no place like home, some people say, though some have to leave to make their way. But in their hearts, I know their destiny to come home and big up their country, which is why we see wherever Sylvia's not even here, but whenever we discuss her, whenever we get closer to her, red, white, and Black, the Trini flag colors, right? Wherever she at, she's repping her country where she came from. So I don't think she's here to save the family. I think she's here to kill them. Because Sylvia has been putting Sebastian in her coffin. That's why she's here. And you can feel her presence in that empty chair, right? He refuses to sleep with his parents. He's going to stay here in the death of Sylvia in his bed that's representative of the coffin that we last physically saw her. This is where she was bringing him. He chooses to die with her, which I tweeted today. I'm JustLatasha404 on Twitter. I tweeted today, this is the exact inversion to episode 1, L'Aquarius. Because L'Aquarius was a Black boy that was put into the caretaking of white women who tried to kill him, versus Sebastian, who's in the care of a Black woman, and Sebastian chooses to die. L'Aquarius chose to live. Sebastian chose to die. Even notice in the room, the curtains, the black and red curtains appearing to be like that road. And of course, the black, red, and white Trini flag color theme all throughout. Sylvia knows exactly what she's doing, and she controlled this whole thing. So when we had Sebastian in red, Sylvia's family in red was them being hurt and wounded, but Sebastian in red was him being possessed by Sylvia, him being Sylvia's possession. So why would Sylvia be with this white family even in her death? This is not salvation. This is vengeance. Because this family took her away from her own, so she's going to take their son away from them. Which is why he doesn't fit in. Which is why he already belongs to Sylvia. Which is why he's home somewhere else. Sebastian is Sylvia's ghost. And his family will never have him. Oh, you took me from my family. I'm going to take your family from you. Yeah. Yep, I know exactly what face you're talking about. I know exactly what face you're talking about. So as we wrap up here, and she wasn't done. You thought I was finished? Hold on, wait a minute. You thought I was finished? Sylvia also split up mom and dad. Not only will you not get your son, y'all won't have each other by the time I'm through with you. She split them up. Dad, now aligned with the color white, since the beginning has been using Black culture, Black music, Black art, and finding entertainment from the trauma of the stories being told, listening to that hip hop song while jogging, liking the song Trini to the Bone, happily recounting how the limbo dance was inspired by the Black enslaved people going into slave ships. That's how they got that cool dance. Like, you having too much fun. Okay, so dad is in line with white versus mom, who gets it. Notice she's in pink. She found the womb. Mom is aligned with Black, dad is aligned with white, but mom is in red, right? She learned her lesson. She acknowledges how her absence has possibly caused harm to Sebastian. She doesn't want Sebastian to be as hurt as Sylvia's children has been hurt. Sylvia's job is done here. She did what she came to do. I knock all this shit over. Hello? So Sebastian asked something early in this episode, and he said, and I wanted to come back here. Can she come back and say goodbye and then go back to being dead? Yeah. In her final goodbye, she invades their home, calls dad an asshole. He got that weird Bluetooth message in the funeral. That weird airdrop. Sylvia comes back, she invades their home, calls dad an asshole, and drowns their son with that FU face. That first photo he pulls out in the last envelope delivery is in multitudes to show the multitude of hands that grabs that Black fisherman in episode 1, right? She's multiplied over Sebastian to represent those black hands of the dead under the water. And as the show goes off, we end with the haunting a cappella version of Trini to the Bone, where it says, "Oh, how I love my country, no place I'd rather be," which answers Sebastian's question that he asked in the middle of the episode. After she died, did she go back to Trinidad and Tobago? She's done now. She's done. Y'all, when I tell y'all I watched this episode and I was like, this is hard, bitch. I don't know what I'm gonna dissect. I don't know what this is hard, but I sat with it until I understood. Use the colors to tell the story and expand the story, seeing where Sylvia went from the red colors to the flowers to the physical version to the ghost and goodbye. She had as a ghost, had a full character arc, had a full story arc, and controlled all this shit. Saving your babies underwater where I am, where all the black boys are. He there too. And she made sure of it. She took her place. She made sure of it. Okay? You're done. You're done. Yep. Even the fact that she went in for family day photos with him and the faces they were making in the photo. Who want? It's family day and I'm with your baby. Who gonna stop me? I am the mother now. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. They felt misaligned throughout the entire episode because it was a weak foundation. It was the husband snapping orders and saying no, and you're just going to follow in line. But right at the end, the wife finally challenges him and separates herself. That last photo was hilarious. So funny. What about the art above the parents' bed? It really reminded me of that well-known illustration of hundreds of slaves tightly packed on that slave ship. I didn't spend time with the art, but I did notice it. It's so funny because even though the show is a half hour, I extend it into an hour, and sometimes it's still not enough time. It's so strange. But yes, the art is definitely integral to the story and integral to where the parents are emotionally, integral to where Sylvia is emotionally, and to blackness. So yes. The privilege of that rest, though, come back from the dead. Ooh. Marquise. Wait, y'all, which part? The bed being the coffin or the photos? The photos were representative of the fisherman. Like it even matches his shirt. Yeah. Because you want to see Sylvia's hands in multitudes. Yeah. Is that what y'all talking about? Is that what y'all referencing? Make sure I answer y'all questions before we go. How many nannies / modern day slaves were in that apartment tower being undervalued and exploited, sacrificing quality time with their families? Fuck it, I'm gonna say it. Here we go. I think Donald Glover is doing what the large scale audience thinks Jordan Peele is doing. And I appreciate Peele. He has made a whole new genre, right? That's all I'm gonna say. Oh, they're gonna remember her. I thought the daughter who spoke up at the wake left those photos with the angry door knocking. I cried at those photos though with the singing. The doorman says he has no idea where the deliveries is coming from. He didn't spot them. He didn't know they were coming in. They're just arriving at this family's door. I think it's being delivered by Sylvia. Thank you, boo. The picture that was airdropped to Miles, I was confused. Oh, it was a booty hole. It was an asshole. Yeah. Okay, so thank you guys. Let's do some hearts up in the chat. Thank you guys for being here. This was the dissection. I'm your host, JustLatasha. I do this live every Monday, even though today was a bit different. And if you're on my YouTube channel discovering this show for the first time, this is released to the general public every Thursday. So thank you so much for being here. I am JustLatasha on Twitter, JustLatasha on Instagram, JustLatasha404 on Twitter. And you guys can access this live show for just $5. Happens every Monday on patreon.com/JustLatasha. Thank you to all my patrons who are here joining me in the chat, being brilliant, funny, thoughtful. Thank you for supporting me. It helps me so much as a creator. Please share this content, share little clips, share the parts that you love. That helps me so much as a creator as well. But I appreciate your presence and your energy. And I just hope to give you more. That's it. I love film. I'm a screenwriter. Just my drama pilot just placed quarterfinalist in the emerging screenwriters drama competition today. So we lit, we up. Just got paid to write my first pilot on behalf of somebody else. It's up. My sketch series is coming out this year. I'm working on some other products that I can't announce yet. It's happening, y'all. It's happening. God damn it. I'm so excited. 2022 is our year, baby. Be Black, be healthy, be beautiful, support each other, love each other, accept each other across all identities, space, and time. That love surpasses everything. This is why we leave hearts up in the chat. This is a love room, nothing less. Unless you're Chet Hanks, you get nothing. You'll get nothing from me, okay? Thank y'all so much. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. Right back at you. Thank you. Oh, I'm so happy. Okay. Love you. See you guys next time. Bye.